Sometimes in the political world, when you are an exception to the rule, you get a lot of attention. And oftentimes that attention can become weaponized. For example, most Black Americans are pretty liberal. So when someone like Candace Owens, a right-wing Black woman, supposedly right-wing, I mean, I think it's partially a character she plays, but whatever, she presents as right-wing. She gets attention. She gets a ton of attention and is able to spread dangerous misinformation, which is welcomed with open arms by right-wingers. Most American Jews are liberal. So when you have a conservative Jew, they often get more attention for their views than they would if their identity was different. And another example of this is that Hollywood and actors are overwhelmingly liberal. So when someone like James Woods, the actor, who's a right-winger, starts sharing right-wing talking points, he gets more attention because partially of his identity. And this is very dangerous. The same applies to college kids and people just out of college, or people who would be just out of college if they went but maybe didn't, who tend to be more on the left. So when someone like Charlie Kirk is out there, they get a lot of attention and they can spread very dangerous disinformation. And case in point, over the weekend, James Woods and Charlie Kirk both shared a supposed analysis, and using that term is almost a joke, of how Bernie Sanders would handle taxes and paying for Medicare-for-All. And it is riddled with not differences of opinion, which are fine. It's just riddled with disinformation. And unfortunately, the posts caught fire. The Trumpists love it. These have been shared hundreds of thousands of times across all the people who have posted them. The graphic that James Woods and Charlie Kirk shared claims that since under a Bernie Sanders administration, everybody gets at least $15 an hour for work that they do. Anybody working full time, of course, not taking any time off, would earn $31,200 a year at a minimum. And the graphic that's being shared goes on to say, Bernie is going to pay for Medicare for All by taxing people making over $29,000 at the rate of 52%. Now, this is completely wrong, but according to this viral image, that makes the effective after-tax hourly wage of someone getting paid $15 an hour and paying 52% in taxes, which of course is a lie, they end up only taking home $7.20 an hour. Charlie Kirk shared the same thing with the additional message, socialism sucks, added to the bottom. Now, it's actually difficult to know where to start with this, but it's a good opportunity to really get a good understanding of how Bernie's plan would work, how Bernie's tax plan would work, how he'd pay for Medicare for all. Now, we can have reasonable fact-based disagreements about Bernie's Medicare for all plan. For example, you could argue, I don't believe it's fair to rich people to do what Bernie wants to do. Okay, we could debate that. That's a great conversation. You could say, I don't think it's fair to poor people or middle-class people. You could say, I think Bernie is too optimistic in how cheap the delivery of healthcare will be under his plan. Great. I've made that critique. We can talk about it. But we have to be arguing about the real world. We can't be arguing about these completely fake disagreements based on viral right-wing disinformation. So let's dig into it. First of all, our tax rates are marginal, number one, meaning you only pay the highest rate on income for the money earned above where that bracket starts. So in Bernie's tax brackets, a single taxpayer would pay 52% tax only on income above $10 million a year. So someone earning the $31,200 mentioned in this viral image would pay 10% on their first $9,500 and then 12% on the amount they make between $9,525 and $31,200. Now, remember that there is a standard deduction of $12,200, which would drop the taxable income for someone earning $31,200 to just $19,000, which means they'd end up paying a little over $2,000 in taxes. They would then get their additional 4% for healthcare on their income-based premium that Bernie has proposed. And this means if you earn $31,200, you end up with an effective tax rate of 9.1%, not 52%, and that includes your payment towards healthcare. Imagine being this financially illiterate and still having a voice in the political discussion, like James Woods or Charlie Kirk. And the disinformation being spread argues that all sorts of people would be paying 52% tax, when in reality, the 52% applies only to incomes above $10 million per year. In 2014, that would have applied to only 0.02% of taxpayers. That number presumably is a little bit higher in 2020. So there's plenty to debate about Medicare for All. You need the Senate support. AOC recently said, Bernie can't wave a magic wand and make Medicare for All happen. I said it months ago. I was crushed for it. AOC said it. She was welcomed mostly with open arms, but she's right. And it's a very real question about Medicare for All. I believe Bernie's plan understates the cost of care. But Bernie doesn't want people earning $31,000 to pay 52% income of their income to taxes. And they are either fundamentally ignorant to the reality of the plan. That's one possibility. They just don't get it. Or they know that they can't actually argue against the plan on its merits, so they resort to spreading disinformation. And it works because these bogus numbers were shared hundreds of thousands of times by the various people that posted and reposted and retweeted them. We can't let them control the information in this way because they are weaponizing the, call it ignorance, call it gullibility, call it whatever you want. It is being weaponized by the American right very successfully. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at @dpakman. We'll be back right after this. If you watch the David Pakman Show, you should check out a YouTube channel we're partnering with called Upflip. Click the link right underneath this video. It'll take you to their channel. While you're there, make sure to subscribe and click that bell for notifications. Upflip is a channel perfect for anyone like me who's fascinated with small businesses and entrepreneurs and what makes them tick. And every Wednesday, Upflip uploads a new video where they interview an entrepreneur. They give you an inside look at how the business works, what makes the business successful, what a day in their shoes is really like. If you enjoy shows like Shark Tank, I think you'll really like this channel. And again, the channel is called Upflip. They're friends of the David Pakman Show. I'd love it if people in my audience subscribe to their channel, click the bell so that you get updates about their videos. And I've put a link right below that will take you directly to their YouTube channel. Check it out.